I went to family camp this weekend. We're going to talk about summer all summer long, and it will be relevant somehow. It all kind of ties together somehow. Just leave it at that. The reason I wasn't here in worship last Sunday is that I was at Disciples Crossing in Athens, where our own Jaden Gorham also works. He's part time with us and part time at camp. So the family camp is one of the annual offerings that you get to be a part of if you just happen to be a disciple of Christ anywhere in this region of the state. It runs from a Friday evening to a Sunday morning. And the only qualification to show up to this camp is that you need somebody under 18 and somebody over 18 who are willing to call themselves family and live in shared spaces with other families. So I took my youngest son and his very best buddy. There we are with some of our friends at family camp. That is my youngest kid in the middle and his best buddy, who was part of our family for the weekend. I was the only adult responsible for those two youngins, which means that I had to remember all the things. Now, you sleep in rooms with bunk beds, so you need bedding, you need bath towels, you need swim towels, you need sunscreen, you need bug spray, you got to have flashlights, you have to have closed-toed shoes. All this is happening. Family camp starts about 7 p.m. on a Friday night. I need to leave Tyler at 6. So I thought, well, I will pack between 4 and 5. This is not a joke. I mean, I got a little head start, maybe, earlier Friday morning. But in general, I thought my goal is to be packed up by 5 p.m. I can do it. It seemed completely reasonable because I'm a seasoned camper. I've been going to Disciples Crossing about 15 years now. But just as pride goeth before the fall, I vastly overestimated my packing skills. Vastly. And I forgot some things. I also packed some things in places I didn't find them until after I needed them. So first moment of realization comes about Chandler. From Tyler to Athens, you pass Chandler, Brownsboro, and maybe a little bit of, a little bit of Murchison. So I forgot pajamas. And I did foremention that you live in shared spaces with other families. So this is a pretty big miss. This is a big deal. I shop for pajamas, friends, at the Dollar General in Brownsboro. And I mean, nothing against the lovely people of Brownsboro or the Dollar General. I just don't do that unless you have to. Just don't do that. Okay. So next item, I get there. I've got improvised pajamas, all as well. I have forgotten a hairbrush. So it seems. 2 days later, I found the hairbrush, but by then I had stopped caring because a hat takes care of that problem for you, right? Witness. I also discovered there were some nice to have items that I very often bring when I'm going to go to camp for a whole week. And I left them at home thinking I could just streamline the packing for a weekend. But in fact, I really needed my own coffee beans. I'm just going to admit it. Camp coffee is not for me, friends. It's not for me. Too much of a princess. Also, age does not make plastic twin bunk mattresses any more comfortable. I could have seriously used a cushy egg crate mattress topper. Now accepting donations if you have one at your house. I am like the princess in the pea in those beds. If there's one speck of dirt, I'm going to feel it, and it's going to keep me up all night. All in all, I have to say, we enjoyed the heck out of camp. With all those things I mentioned, still in all, 2 boys stayed in the water for 4 straight hours. 2 boys went back for seconds for spaghetti that night and cinnamon rolls the next morning. Lucas and I made a hilarious parody video, and we ended up staying in a basement room all to ourselves. The missing or the substituted items, well, they were pretty well forgotten. They were not really missed because I probably pack more than I need already for any trip. That's your intro to today's topic, the first of summer 2026. This is the day we talk about the summer packing list. Because we are all headed into some kind of journey. Yours might be an actual trip you're going on this summer. It might be something more metaphoric than literal. For us all as a worshiping body in this room, the journey might be more spiritual than physical, because change and transition certainly count as a journey too. Life very often sends us into new places, And some of them we never even set out to go. Some of them we suddenly find ourselves on the road to. And then in those cases, it very much feels like an emotional scramble to catch up and gather all the things you need. Because the things make you feel more comfortable when you're launching into the unknown, right? You especially want your like own hairbrush and your own Pete's coffee when you're going to have to struggle through a weekend in a camp bunk, right? Stuff helps us get our bearings when our headings change. That I know, that I live. But I know some other things too about how we really don't need all the stuff we think we do. It occurs to me that I could probably help us all by holding up my own poor packing skills and pointing out how very often I have survived fine without all the things I meant to pack, or even without the things I tossed in and didn't actually use on the way to a great adventure and great change. It might be good for us to hear right about now that our packing lists for summer 2026, they could be more about what we give up that we never needed anyway than what we carry on. Let's start with Jesus, and then I'll get back to more of what I think. I have a few verses to read from Luke 9 and 10 from the start of each of these chapters. So, in this section of Luke's gospel, things are expanding. Jesus' ministry is expanding, and he is about equipping other people to do what he does. In this section, Jesus is readying his followers to do more on their own, and so he sends them out, kind of like on a test run, like a trial run, while he stays back. He first sends the 12 named disciples out to do ministry in his name. He asks them to go into villages that they're not from, to meet some new people, to heal and bless. First in that little group. And then a chapter later, he repeats the entire exercise in a much bigger group that's either, depending on translation, 70 or 72 people strong. So here is Luke 9, verses 1 through 6, followed by Luke 10, verses 1 through 6. Jesus called the 12 together and he gave them the power and authority over all demons and all sickness. He sent them out to proclaim God's kingdom and to heal. He told them, take nothing for the journey. No walking stick, no bag, no bread, no money, not even an extra shirt. Whatever house you enter, remain there until you leave that place. Wherever they don't welcome you, as you leave the city, shake that dust off your feet as a witness against them. They departed and they went through the villages, proclaiming the good news and healing people everywhere. After these things, the Lord commissioned 72 others and sent them on ahead in pairs to every city and place he was about to go. He said to them, the harvest is bigger than you can imagine, but the workers are few. Therefore, plead with the Lord of the harvest to send out workers for his harvest. Go, but be warned, though, that I'm sending you out as lambs among wolves. Carry no wallet, no bag, and no sandals. Don't even greet anyone along the way. Whenever you enter a house, first say, may peace be on this house. If anyone there shares God's peace, then your peace will rest on that person. If not, your blessing will return to you. So, thoughts on why Jesus did it this way vary. These are a very particular set of travel instructions, and it does make us think, what is Jesus up to? Some scholars think that the take nothing approach emphasizes there is urgency in this mission. That Jesus knows now his time is short, and he doesn't even want his followers to pause to pack. Just go. Just go and do as much good as you can in the time you're given. Other scholars say the command of Jesus is given here to make sure that the disciples depend on God more than they depend on themselves. I like that too. I mean, it seems very reasonable that they'd have to depend on God to meet their needs if they weren't taking all their needs on their backs with them. Some other thoughts I found and liked, maybe the do not pack list was an act of solidarity. Maybe Jesus was making sure that the people helping didn't show up with more than the people being helped. That sounds important too. That would certainly keep the disciples from seeming like the outsiders who swoop in, drop some wealth, and then leave again. That would kind of equalize things, keep people on an equal human footing. And we can say that largely poor people would be the kind of people the disciples would encounter. People who'd still like to give back to them something in return for the ministry received, even if it's just the provision of a meal and a place to sleep. Regardless of his personal why, Jesus' direction is really important. It sets a pattern that should hold even today. There is a pattern here of hospitality among Jesus's people, even when you're around the barest of acquaintances. In the earliest form of church we have recorded, community is built like this. You welcome people in, you take them how you find them, you make sure they get fed and have what they need. Then you accept the gifts the new people have to offer. The pattern for Jesus's nearest disciples and the pattern for his most recent followers is exactly the same. The words spoken are parallel here in both texts. And some important things I hear both places are go together and travel light. The disciples and the commissioned ones are sent in pairs. I think that's probably significant. It might be because possibly because in Jewish law, two people were the legal threshold for giving credible testimony. If you needed one witness to make something true, you really needed a second to prove it true. Maybe it's just because journeys and any new experience is better shared. The part I didn't read to you from chapters 9 and 10 is that after they're done, both of these groups report back to Jesus. I imagine them rushing in like tween kids coming home from their first sleepover camp, telling mom and dad all the cool stuff they just did. In the account we have, the Bible we're given verifies that these folks were happy and excited by the journeys they just been on. Luke 10 tells us the 72 returned joyously to Jesus. This is what they brought back. This overflowing positive emotion in exchange for following Jesus's very specific instructions. I imagine by now you're seeing the application of this just like I saw it. I think we can all take a few notes from the actual journeys Jesus sent his followers on. And I think we can adjust our mental packing lists accordingly. Certainly, I know that I have some work to do in this area. I still have 2 more camps and a mission trip this summer, and maybe I'd like to get it right. One more right one of the next 3 times. Even if it's hard, I'd like to pack light. So, what does that mean for us in upcoming days? I believe part of packing light means holding fewer expectations. When things change in this room, we're going to have to just let them change. It may feel a bit like uncharted territory. It may feel like less than what we have today. It may feel like a lot of emotions just crashing in at once. But whatever comes, expecting things to move right along without a hitch or to be the same is a surefire way to be disappointed. If we expect less of ourselves and the people getting us through it, the more open-minded we can be to notice what good rises up. The fewer firmly set expectations we have in life generally means the less comparing we're doing. And comparison is the thief of joy. Less comparing, more living means good things can be seen. New and different good things can be seen. All of this is not to say have no expectations. That wouldn't serve you well. Just pare them back to a really essential few and keep those few expectations absolutely sacred between you. To paraphrase Jesus, in this very journey he sent people on, you should expect a welcome or don't stick around. The blessings that you want to share should come back to you. if the people you set out to bless through your presence can't see your worth? So expect to be welcomed in this space 100% of the time, always. Expect to be valued. And then try to sit back and see what you see. See what comes for you. I see real ties binding people together in love. Next on the packing list, open hearts, even for folks who aren't permanent in your life, because that's just a reality. Um, People come and go. That doesn't make them any less important or significant. You get the really cool opportunity, I will say, and this is not me selling you like a mom tells the kids it's going to be great when it's not. This is not me momming you, I promise. You get the really cool opportunity to meet some new disciples, preachers, starting later in this year. And they'll each get to be in this room for several weeks at a time. They'll just be like a 3 or 4 week series with one voice and face. And then a different voice and face. And even though those folks will not be permanent, they will help make worship what you need along with you. And they'll genuinely want to get to know you. They've heard a lot of nice things, and they're going to want to delight in you, even if it's just for a couple of weeks at a time. You, however, will have to bring the warm feels for yourself for a little bit. You'll have to see the opportunity that comes in getting to know some regional ministers, some friends of FCC, and then just go ahead and like them. Let yourself like them as long as they're here. When this happens, these good people who are moving us through transition will love you back. No blessing extended will be wasted. It never is. Next thought, there's no need to source or replace all you couldn't possibly pack for an unexpected journey. It's okay to just do without the usual stuff for a while. Dang, I hate to say that out loud. Because listen, full disclosure, I will be taking my own coffee to the next camp. Yeah, sorry. I'm not perfect, folks. This is it. I have flaws. But as much as we can, it's okay to do without our usual for short amounts of time. That's how we discover that we can. And I even wrote this apology to you. Yes, I absolutely did think about ordering a mattress pad from Amazon and having it delivered to Disciples Crossing on Saturday morning. I did. I had it in my cart. And then Jesus spoke to me, maybe not literally. The thought came that Amazon cannot supply all your needs. Please don't believe Amazon can supply all your needs. Oh, bummer. Oh, bummer. But it's just so true. Please don't shame me if I buy a mattress pad before the mission trip. Please don't judge me. Uh, it's just a really good general rule that we can often take less than what we think we need. And then that lets us discover the essentials really are enough. Have you ever been on a family camping trip and you found like a seemingly very important piece was missing, but somehow you still got fed, somehow you still slept, somehow the next day dawned and you took the hike and it was glorious, all the same. Travel from a very comfortable here to anywhere there is going to involve some rough spots along the way. All trips involve rough patches. All journeys are tough in different ways, no matter how we might try to create more comfort in them. They just are what they are. We might as well acknowledge and give up this forced toxic positivity of change so that instead, a real deep down, all will be well kind of positivity can rise up. It is in the ground you walk, it is in the air you breathe. The all will be well surrounds you. It just speaks so quietly, you have to be still to notice it. Trying to land this plane in some kind of way, I'll just say that it made sense to me to tell you that a summer packing list might actually be more about what we set aside than what we add to our human baggage. And it seems very much like Jesus to me to lighten people's loads that way. It seems like maybe that's a thing Jesus was just doing in the scriptures we read. Maybe Jesus was lifting some of the weight people normally carry. Also, it seems very on brand for Jesus to care about how we move through our journeys. Beyond what we carry, how do we make the path? I think one of the things I hear in Luke 9 and 10 and these verses about Jesus sending out, there are some good ideas. We all should walk, not try to run. Jesus launches his friends into life at the pace of human feet. And it is so easy to get ahead of ourselves, to get ahead of God and ruin the day we're in thinking about the one that's to come. That happens a lot when we're traveling, but there's no need. There's no need to cover all the ground at once. We walk, we don't run. Also, we rest when we can. Jesus said, stay in houses, accept the hospitality. You deserve it. It sounds obvious, but trying to maximize our time can really cause us to forget to rest. Being great workers or good travelers or just bearing up under trying times can make us forget that hospitality is meant for us too. We don't just extend it to other people. We are the workers who receive it when we need it. It's meant for you. When it's offered, wherever it's offered, just take it. If someone wants to buy you a meal or invite you over, take the food that's provided, both literal and spiritual. And finally, don't go it alone. Pairs is how Jesus sent his friends out. Then, at least that's how he did it first. Then later, he sent his followers in groups called ecclesias, gatherings, assemblies, or ultimately churches. This system is how Jesus designed us to be. I think it's probably how we function best. Use the people around you along the journey. They're for you and they're with you and you're for them. Go ahead and tell someone something you need and then show up when someone else voices a need. This is the simplest form of faith, I think, is to speak something you need, not sure yet that the need's going to be met, and to meet a need for someone else, not sure your need is going to be met. That's what faith looks like on the ground. Show up hungry to a house that is full of food and hand out food freely, trusting you won't later go hungry. I think that's what Jesus taught his friends here. And just one last thing I think about these verses in Luke. At the end of it all, joy abides. There is a very sweet ever after. Every Sunday of summer 2026 might be a little bittersweet for me up front. This is my full disclosure that in June, I'm probably going to hold it together pretty well. In July, there's probably going to be it'll be this, but more teary every single Sunday. Just keep showing up, friends. If you can, when you can, just keep showing up. This is the prayer and the hope I hold for us. It's the hope that I believe holds the power of transformation in it. That when we keep showing up for the community of each other, we will find that not only can we do hard things, but we get to enjoy the journey, walking with packs lighter than we thought, finding out that our traveling companions are becoming our friends. So may it be among us. Amen.